What's up everybody, Sunkissed here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to farm days worth of XP buffs for herbivores in less than an hour. Catch you at the end. Herbivores have two primary foods that we'll be using as our XP buffs. The first one being Cranberry Relish, which down there at the bottom states is a 20% XP bonus for 1 hour. However, when you're on a team and running Strange in Numbers, you will actually get a 25% bonus. So in most cases, I know most people play on a team, so you'll get that 25% bonus. The recipe for this is going to be 2 boiled water, 2 cranberries, 2 gourd, 2 sugar, and 1 wood. Of course, later in the video, I'll show you very efficient ways to farm all that stuff. Next up is going to be the brain fungus soup. So I know a lot of people like to use brain bombs because that can give you +8 intelligence, while brain fungus soup only gives you +5 intelligence. To me, I'll take the hit on the 3 intelligence, considering that brain fungus soup is so much easier to farm. All you need is boiled water, brain fungus, and wood. And of course, I'll show you where to get all that stuff as well. First thing I'll show you how to farm is going to be the brain fungus soup. And the main thing that we really, I guess, have trouble with, if you will, even though I don't think it's much trouble at all, is going to be the brain fungus. And we're going to go over to the Wendigo cave. And if you take your time to comb through there, you have the potential of walking out of there with 100 brain fungus. So that would net you 50 hours worth of +5 intelligence. Not saying you should go in there and find them all, but, you know, you won't have to look very long for hours and hours worth of XP. Here is Wendigo Cave on the map here. So once you fast travel, just go ahead and walk into the cave. And pretty much just as you progress along within the cave, you'll just see brain fungus. Like there's even some right when you walk in and some kind of right behind you too. So one thing you want to make sure is that you're running green thumb, which I am not right now. So I'll go ahead and make sure I have that on. Go ahead and find that really quick here. All right, there we go. Green thumb. This will double our yield from the brain fungus. So right when you walk in, there's already 6 right here. Go a little bit further. Some more right here. Even more right there. Well, you will have to fight some ghouls and some other enemies, so just keep that in mind. They're not going to be super difficult, but you'll run into some resistance. There's some more here. Keep an eye out in some places. There's some on the ceiling as well. Some over here to the left, but we're not going to go too much further, but you get the point. There's a ton in this cave, so just explore and you'll find, you'll have no problem finding a bunch. Next component we're going to be farming is going to be wood. One important note before we start on that, though, is make sure in the luck tree you have the woodchucker perk card equipped if you want to make it a little easier to get wood fast. This will essentially double your wood yield. But we've fast traveled over to Sylvie Sun's logging camp, and we're going to find quite a few stacks of wood that we can pick up from. There's also some fallen trees you can get stuff from too. So I'll go ahead and take out the glowing mongrels that spawn here. You'll have to take some of those out while you're over here. But yeah, just kind of look around the camp. There is, like I said, you can harvest the fallen trees there. Just make sure to pick up all these stacks right here as well. And for the most part, I know most people will have plenty of wood anyways from scrapping weapons and armor and stuff. But if for some reason you're kind of short on wood right now, this is a good place to come to. You can grab those there too. There's another stack over on the other side here, so you can walk away with quite a bit of wood in no time at all. Let's just see what I was able to gather really quick. Yeah, 296 wood scrap in a very short amount of time. Next thing we'll be farming is our boiled water. Essentially, we're going to get some dirty water first so we can cook that into boiled water. But you're going to fast travel over to Ohio River Adventures, and you can just sit here and spam as much dirty water as you want until you feel like you have enough. Now, this is also important as well because it's kind of a 2-for-1. Because we will be picking up snaptail raids, which you can turn into sugar. And what we're going to be doing is running along this river here, pretty much up until and maybe a little bit past Hilford hot dogs. you can get a ton of snaptail reeds and be able to craft a bunch of sugar from that. So I'll just run quickly down the river so you can see what one of them looks like. And then I'll just kind of show a time lapse of kind of the amount of snaptail reeds that I was able to get here. So haven't found any of the early ones, but here is what they will look like. They'll look just like this. And we still have green thumb equipped, so we're getting 2 per pickup. And occasionally I've seen actually more than 2 sometimes. Not sure what causes that, but it is possible. So just continue to run along this river until you get to Hilford Hot Dogs. And there's even a few a little bit past, but a majority are between Ohio River Adventures and Hilford Hot Dogs. All right, so we've kind of ran to where the snaptail reeds really stop for the most part. It's going to be right about here. As you can see, we collected, let's see what our final total is here, 66 snaptail reeds. Sometimes, depending on the world spawn too, you can see, you can get even more, and I may have even missed a few, but let's move on to the next farm here. Next up, we're going to have our gourds. Gourds, however you say it. We are over at Riley Clay's bunker, and there's going to be some gourds that are in some planters. There's not a bunch of places around Appalachia that have a ton of gourds, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to use these to plant a few at our camp, and then we can also then utilize some turbo fertilizer grenades to kind of speed up the process of getting those gourds to grow at the camp, or you can just be patient and wait for them. Just excuse me while I try to remember exactly where the kind of little, here it is. So once you get here, this room will have quite a few gourds for you to pick. If you have green thumb on like you should, I think you can net between 8 and 10 gourds, which obviously we can either use to craft right away. There's even some extra brain fungus in here too. We can either use that to craft right away, or we can plant them at our camp, which is what I decided to do a while ago, and I'll show you kind of how I have that set up in just a minute here. Make sure I got all those. There we go. For cranberries, for the cranberry relish, we're going to go over to Max Farm. You could also go over to Sunrise Field. There's also a decent amount of them there, but my main stop is usually at Max Farm. So I'll go ahead and show you. If you can find them all, there should be about 26 plants for you to harvest from, so you could net about 50. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see them all and kind of all the tall grasses and stuff in the cranberry bog, if you will. There's even some brain fungus there too. But sometimes there's also a Mirelurk queen here as well, so keep that in mind. You will have to fight them potentially. All right. So the cranberries are going to look like this. Go first person so you can see it. You're going to want to harvest those. So I'll just show you where that one is, or maybe find one more here for you. This is also a good spot if you haven't got your dirty water yet. You could do that. There's the Mirelurk queen. Okay. I'm just talking about my but we'll be back around here. All right, your time is ended. We'll gather our loot. If I can remember where my loot is, if I can find it. It's kind of floating right here. Okay, cool. All right, let's find one more cranberry for you. What I like to do is kind of search the outer area first, and then kind of walk my way back and forth towards the middle areas. There is also some cranberries that are not on a plant, that are just world drops that are right here, so you can grab these as well. So we're back at our camp now. We're going to begin crafting these consumables. First want to touch on the turbo fertilizer. This is going to be purchasable for gold bullion from the settlers if you have the max rank with them of ally, or you could potentially buy it from Minerva on sale if it's in her sale for that week. So essentially I'll show you quickly how that works if you're unfamiliar. Essentially, you go ahead and after you've planted your gourds and you've harvested them, all you're going to need to do is equip the turbo fertilizer grenade, throw it at the plants you picked, and poof, it will respawn the gourds. And if you don't have access to this turbo fertilizer yet, you could just server hop and farm the gourds from that location I showed you, or the Fallout Wiki also has a good list of where you can find more gourds. That being out of the way though, before we get to crafting, definitely gonna want to make sure that you have super duper on, so that way you can have a chance of doubling your crafting yield. So I'll go ahead and put that. So first things first, we're gonna turn our dirty water into boiled water. So go for utility, or not utility, where is it here? All drinks. Boiled water, we're gonna craft a bunch of that here. Our brain fungus soup. It's 1 boiled water, 1 brain fungus, and 1 wood. So we'll go ahead and craft a couple of that. Then from there, I'll go craft wool. Yeah, okay, go to sugar. Yep, so snaptail reed, it requires 2 snaptail reed. So from the route that I went on, I was able to craft 33 sugar here. And now we can go back to all food, I guess, and cranberry relish, craft a couple of those. So I've got a decent amount of that stuff here. I'll go ahead and just craft with the rest of what I can. Craft some more brain fungus soup. So without fully farming it, and I could have, like I said, I only picked some of the cranberries and stuff like that, but what I've been able to accomplish in this short amount of time is 29 brain fungus soup, which is about 15 hours of XP, and cranberry relish. I crafted 11, which is 11 hours worth of XP. So quite a bit in quite a short amount of time. Now, these items are also all subject to the world drop reset. That means, I believe it's around 250 items that you have to pick up for items that you've already picked up will start respawning again. So there's a really common place that people go to do that. I gotta remember, where is Summersville on the map? It's embarrassing. There it is, Summersville. So we'll fast travel over there, and I'll show you where you can pick up a ton of burnt books to reset your item world counter. So from the spawn point in Summersville, you're gonna just run right up into this house right here, and just kind of look around. There is books just everywhere in this house. First, you'll notice there's some on the shelf here. There's some right here. Just look around the house, pick up all the books, and go to your Pip-Boy junk tab and just confirm that you've, gathered at least, I'd say, 260 burnt books. And that's how you know, after you server hop, that all that stuff should be respawned in your world. Last little tidbit for you here is going to be about getting lunch boxes, because if you have 4 lunch boxes active at a time, you get an additional 100% XP. So a lot of people know that you can purchase lunch boxes from the various gold bullion vendors for, gold bullion, but some people still don't know that you can actually reset that, and you're not just capped at that amount per visit, I guess, if you will. So if I just buy these 3 lunch boxes, they'll disappear from Samuel's inventory. If I just exit and reopen here, there's gonna be another 3. And that is infinitely repeatable until you run out of gold bullion. That is gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you found this useful. If you get really efficient at this, you probably could see that you can get just hours and hours and days worth of double XP just from a little bit of farming and some, a little bit of effort with resetting the world drops and that sort of stuff. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you learned anything new today, and hopefully catch you in future videos. Hit that sub button and hit the bell icon to be reminded and notified when videos come out. But I will see you in the next one.